is a prophetic update. I would like to call this an urgent, critical prophetic update. And I'm speaking specifically regarding to a number of events happening here in the United States of America, as well as around the globe. Here in America, we are at a point of an escalating spiritual state of emergency. Now, I have used that terminology before, but we have now approached a whole new level of escalation of critically serious problems. And there is no way to understate the gravity of the problems that we are facing, because the problems that we are facing have the potential capacity of destroying the United States of America as we know it. These things cannot be perceived as peripheral or non-essential issues. These are front and center issues that have the capacity to spread rapidly across the United States, creating chaos and ultimately the destruction of America as we know it. Now, again, my name is Paul McGuire. I'm the author of over 23 books, a former feature film producer, a regular commentator on the two largest cable news networks in the world. And I am also known as an internationally recognized Bible teacher who specializes in Bible prophecy. I am a professor of eschatology, which is the study of Bible prophecy at a major university and seminary. And I'm well acquainted with the media. In addition, I am the pastor of a local church. And first and foremost, I am a minister. Now, I'm only saying that as a brief introduction if you don't know who I am and would like to know some information about me as you hear what I'm about to say. More information in terms of a full bio and documentation regarding what I'm saying is available at the website paulmcguire.us. What is happening in Ferguson, Missouri is a crisis point. There are a culmination of factors going on right now that have the capacity to reach a tipping point in terms of urban riots, in terms of police-style military response, and in terms of the very real potential of this kind of violence and looting and riots spreading from one major urban city center area after another going across the United States of America. I'm not here to comment on the guilt or innocence of the parties involved, whether they be the police or the tragically the young gentleman who was shot. I was not there. The hearings and the evidence has not been fully analyzed and made public, so it would be mere conjecture on my part to try to establish a guilty party or innocence, and I don't want to venture there. But we have this problem. We have the problem of increasing racial tensions in America right now for a variety of reasons. These racial tensions were already at the boiling point before this incident happened. And the provocation is the belief by the African American community in Ferguson, Missouri, that the police, without proper justification, according to their perception, shot a young man who was on his way to college. Again, I can't comment on the guilt or innocence of that young man, But that is the perception of the African American community, and based on the information that's been disclosed so far, I don't think one can fault the African American community for embracing that perception. They're going by the information they have. Whether it's accurate information or not, only time will tell. But given that data, that ignites an explosive situation. And we have seen the military-style response by the police in Ferguson, Missouri. Armed vehicles, tanks, military camouflage outfits, snipers in camouflage military gear, actually aiming their rifles at the crowd as if to shoot. In addition, all kinds of military dress, armored vehicles, rifles. When you see the pictures, which I'm sure you have, it doesn't look like you're looking at America. It looks like you are looking at American soldiers in a nation like Iraq in a combat zone. Now, given those visual images, one could make the case that the presence of a very intimidating military force, and that's exactly what it looks like, in Ferguson, Missouri, often confronting unarmed civilians, one could make the case that that kind of show of force incites further violence. On the other hand, in defense of the police, for a long time, the police in the United States have simply been outgunned by gangs and looters. And here in Los Angeles, California, where I am broadcasting this message to you from, we have had a number of riots. The Watts riots, we had the Rodney King riots, and during the Rodney King riots, the police were completely ill-prepared to deal with the massive anarchy, rioting, and looting of armed individuals. And parts of inner-city LA became a combat zone, and the police did not have enough firepower, if you will, to shut down the riots and the looting. The store owners, many of them from the Vietnamese and Asian communities, had to protect their own stores by standing on their stores with rifles. And it was a tragic scene. Many of you remember the awful, horrific beating of a truck driver in the inner city of Los Angeles right after the Rodney King riots, or during the Rodney King riots, where not a police helicopter, a media helicopter videotaped the beating of this man, and it was brutal, and he was crying out for help, and the police could not get into that zone. So that gives you an example of what happens when the police are not given sufficient equipment, sufficient firepower to deal with an explosive urban riot. In addition, in many cities across the United States right now, we have armed gangs of a variety of ethnic groups, and that would include white groups as well, who are heavily armed with assault rifles and machine guns. And for many decades, their firepower of these gangs was superior to the firepower of the police. Again, the police were outgunned. Now, this became a tragic situation where innocent police officers were being killed, and they were unable to adequately perform their law enforcement duties. There was a famous bank robbery where the two robbers, again here in Los Angeles, they had assault rifles and military rifles, and they robbed a bank, and there was a